Preparing the stream.
Perfect.
Get it.
So for those that don't know yet, we are live streaming this board meeting on YouTube so that also interested people can participate. We will, as usual, also record this meeting. This we, for those that don't know it, always do to make the minutes. It's a bit easier than you can look up what everyone has said. And I would suggest before we go to the present list, because we expect 1 or 2 more people joining, that we start with the welcome of our president, Panagiotis Theodoropoulos, and then do the participant later after this.
Okay, thank you for coming, even though this board meeting was not programmed for this way. It was actually programmed for the statutes amendments according to the last year decisions of the General Assembly. But it should be done like this. And what I want to say is that since many years I said that I want all board meetings to be live streaming. As federation, we don't have to hide anything. We are open, and board is not deciding behind closed doors. It's behind openly and without any problem. So we should go back, and we can give this opportunity to everybody who wants to watch and follow the board meetings to have an idea and avoid transferring information that are not 100% of the discussions, not wrong, but not representing the full discussion, and make some impressions to the people that receive this information. So, why I ask this board meeting to come, I just want from our vice president and good friend, Robert, to at least to explain to me why he was in a hurry to send out informations about the informations that come from the board meeting and voting of the board meeting. Because the impression I get, and the impression they get many people, is that we have a board that are not deciding, they just be there and vote, I don't know which criteria, which is not clear in the statement of European Union President. And this really makes me feel unhappy, and I'm expecting from Robert, we know each other so many years, I trust him for everything. I believe that he's a person that whenever he's doing something, he has reasons behind. It's not just to make noise. And I would like to hear what was the reasons to do that. On the other hand, since our friend from France is joining us, I miss him anyway. Never mind. I received a letter from the president of French Federation yesterday evening. I cannot criticize the president's letter because I see that he was informed about the motion and meetings and conclusion for the DO just in the beginning of last week. This week we passed, actually. And therefore, he has no clue of what is happening. And even though it's not necessary, and I'm not obliged to do that, I'm here to explain what happens with DO and how the system of deciding was moved. That's why here in the operators of Duo are present, Birgitte and Fabio. Both of them, they spent many hours in discussing and reading and prepare, let's say, with all other people involved in this the creation of this rule for Duo. And at least we must appreciate their work. And this work was not, again, in a closed group. The initial proposal for Duo, it was expected to be in 2018 by the previous Duo Commission. 5 years was postponed. Yes, we are ready. Yes, we will do it. Yes, we will do it. That was the reason that since Duo was almost in a corner and many federations were complaining about the way of judging, they were complaining for many things. I take this decision, call some experts, prepare the initial presentation of the rules. We went for, this was prepared in early July last year, 2022. In September, we had the first open meeting, and the second open meeting, we received some information, some proposals from the participants of the working group. We make the changes since some of them were logical and generally the biggest change of the initial rule was the techniques, because in the initial rule we assumed that it was better to have the old techniques groups, 4 columns by 5 techniques. Then, if I remember well, it was Mr. Horak who make this proposal and say no, because the different duo groups, duo couples in all countries have been prepared to compete in a system of 12 techniques as it was since 2 years. So this was logical, and we changed that. We take out the draw of the techniques and put the techniques in series in order to be familiar, the people, of what they have to do. We met a lot of tests, a lot. In January, when we had this board meeting in January, European Union asked that maybe we are not ready and we like to have the youth championship in France and Paris Open with old rules. Even though I was not with this proposal, I had to say yes. If you think that you are not ready, you can proceed with this, with old rules. And all rules actually is the course of the competition and pointing the marks that referees are giving. Nothing has to do with techniques and anything else. So when we decide that we will have the, let's say, new rules in World Championship, it was a reaction coming from by writing of Robert, and it was a personal reaction of Robert, but it was, I think, a reaction that came from discussion with a group of people, maybe the board, maybe other people, I don't know. But it was already decided. And since it doesn't make any problem, except of the problem of sport data, which is something that we'll discuss in another board meeting, what we'll do with that. That is not ready. Of course, it's not ready, because if you are not interested to be involved, we are not ready. And still I'm waiting from sport data, the famous budget to prepare the system. Anyway. So this was in short the story of this decision, and suddenly I see a letter addressed to the National Federation's president, explaining that there is a reaction from the European Union, and the board of JJIF ignored this reaction. The reaction was after the voting. It was described in the letter that it was a vote for that, and we repeat the vote finally on request of European Union, the President of European Union, and the result was majority in favor of applying the new rules in World Championships next month in August. So I don't see why we have to show that we are not don't have a common decision. Democratically, some members of the board maybe disagree. That doesn't mean that we are working in a not democratic way. We put in vote, and normally when we have the majority of the vote, disagreement is a part of our life. We cannot say no. And of course, we, or at least me, explained several times the way of the new rules of duo, plus how the decisions will be taken in technical subjects. Therefore, one more time, I have the feeling that national federations are not informed, or at least they are not following what we are doing, because a bunch of proposals came in order to give these proposals to General Assembly. 95% of the proposals were on technical subjects. That means, according to our decisions in the past, these technical proposals should go to the Technical Commission and not to the General Assembly. But even if we want to put it in the General Assembly, there is no enough time for the people to understand. And moreover, General Assembly is not composed by the representatives of the National Federation with technical knowledge, but in many cases there are political persons leading the federations that have no deep knowledge of the technical subjects. That was for me as a start. The floor is yours. Thank you.
I would then use this break to just, as I said, it's a formality, but I still like to make sure that we are following the rules about the attendance list. We have 7 of the 8 board members present. I just, for completeness, name who is not present. It's Faisal Al-Kibti from the Athletes Commission. All the other board members are present. And additionally, we have with non-voting rights, Joe and me as part of the board, as well as Peter, that's a permanent guest. And we have from the other continental unions, Jose from Pan American Union, Didier Menu from Ju-Jitsu European Union, Rick and Anestis also from Ju-Jitsu European Union, as well as Brigitte and Fabio from the Duo Committee. So with this, we have a quorum, and we will, as usual, make the minutes afterwards, and we have the rolling minutes in the link. So if anyone wants to read this up, then you can follow up on everything. That's it from my side.
If I may, Mr. President.
Yes, sure.
Thank you very much for the floor, and thank you also for the compliments. On a personal level, I give it back because I believe that the decades we shared together in different organizations, from European to international federations, there was a long run and many things happened in between in the progress of Jiu-Jitsu worldwide. To the topic on the agenda, a short overview and explanation. So after in the late of 2022, I sent out, that was only to the board and to the dedicated people in the technical commission regarding the new rules, some comments and suggestions referring to the new rules. On the board meeting on May 17, the board accepted and approved the new rules coming into force on June the 1st, and that it will be applied also for the upcoming World Championship. And on 18th of May, those rules were sent out to the National Federation. On May 20th, I sent the request to the board only, asking for another decision or another round of discussion regarding the new duo rules, with certain concerns and things I found as not finished in a way, finalized in a way that it would allow to perform it and introduce it at an upcoming World Championship, including the fact that that would be in the middle of the year. That was the letter that was sent to the board only. In Europe, we had some discussions with our members via Zoom, and additionally, at the technical meeting, or let's say technical training, sorry, we had in Maintal in Germany, we had also an open board meeting with the board members and some members, interested parties from the European countries. There I explained that the next day we would have a JJIF board meeting when it was allowed, and I expected that we will discuss the duo again. The one voice I got from all present persons on the meeting was, okay, whatever the decision would be, please inform us as soon as possible, because this uncertainty, old, new, is really doesn't do favor to anyone, especially as the time is very short and the people really need to know how to mentally, physically, and technically prepare for the events. So at the board meeting, it was allowed to have another discussion of, let's say, our complaints or concerns from the European side towards the new rules. I believe the discussion was calm, respectful, although from time to time energetic. Nevertheless, at the end, the board voted. And the vote was not in favor with my or our proposal, but was in favor that the new rules will be implemented to the next European Championship. On the next day, as already agreed in the European board, I sent an information out about short overview of the things which happened in the last few months. Also that I have argued the case which was entrusted to me, that at the end there was a vote and that our proposal was not accepted. And by that also means that we will continue with the new rules. As discussed and talked before, that was the first time also that I attached the letter which was sent to the board for the board meeting we had before, just for everyone to understand what was the scope and the length of the, let's say, concerns or discussions we have had. In the letter I have sent to the our members in Europe, I did not disclose the discussions we have had, which means I described what I have talked about and what I have discussed based on the mandate I have received before, because all the rest would be indicated in the minutes. The case of voting, it was as it was. At least from my perspective, it was, I was, let's say, thankful in a way that we were allowed that we argued the case again. But in practical terms, the board made a decision on May 17. On the next board meeting, this decision was attested, was challenged, but it was attested again. So from my perspective, the decision from May 17 is valid, and the new rules come into force. And that was the message intended to our members, that they know that the new rules are definitely approved, and by the new rules we will compete at the next event. And that was the scope, and that was the intention of the message. And in the information I have sent to the European members, I did not indicate it, I believe, anything which goes beyond what I have discussed, because I don't want to put the words on the mouth of other people before the official minutes are out. The rest are factual indications of the people who were present and how the vote was done. So it was done in following the proper procedure. The challenge about the duo was rejected, so the decision from May 17 was approved again, and that's, let's say, that was the scope, and that was the objective, and that was also the intention of the letter that was sent to our members, that they know that we didn't succeed with our, let's say, concerns, discussions, or even if you want to say complaints to the new rules, which means that the new rules which were approved by the board are applied, and that you need to follow them. Thank you.
Okay, so as far as I understand, this letter was written under the recommendation of the European Board. Is that correct?
This letter was attesting that the JJIF Board decision from May of 17 is valid, and the new rules are applied.
Okay, so for me it's quite clear, and I'm not going to discuss any rumors or I don't know requests and discussions in between people that are asking me several questions, which has no sense, since of course the board of the continent has any right to inform the members, and we will appreciate if the board inform more regularly, so they can follow the procedures of different things. But anyway, I cannot blame anybody for sending a letter. The only thing is that what I said, by reading this letter, I guess, at least me, and I must be honest with all of you, the impression that the board is a bunch of people that they don't have opinion, which is not correct. It's not truth. Board always can express their opinion, as European Union do, Asian Union can do the same, an American Union can do the same. Otherwise, we are not working with the fundamental value of democracy, which is equality between the members, and this cannot be accepted by anyone, not only by me. So now I think after the uploading of the rules and some explanations about 8 categories, everybody can understand, and I don't know, maybe our members, and I mean the individual members, not the federations, they did not understand that they have the right to participate by sending proposals, by discussing the proposals when it is the floor open. So any discussions that can be done somewhere in a country or inside the federation doesn't affect the procedures of JJIF, unless these proposals have been officially hand it to technical commission and to coordinator and be part of the discussions in the working group. This is the reason that why we established the working group, in order to give to everybody opportunity to express what he's thinking in the correct way. I made the proposal. I put my name on the end of the proposal. Me, Panayotis, I made this proposal, and I'm ready to stand and explain to the working group why I made the proposal, why I think that this proposal is a benefit for Ju-Jitsu and JJIF, and then the working group can discuss and decide or make some more questions to this person. Anonymous proposals are not proposals, they are something that is guided by group of people, couple of people, doesn't matter. It's not, it cannot be accepted anyway. Without name a proposal, it's not a proposal, because nobody knows who makes the proposal. Even if the proposal is coming through the union, should have a name. Federation is, of course, the first, because we suppose that federation, each national federation has technical experts, so they can make proposals. Otherwise, I don't know, I don't understand how they develop this board if they don't have, or referees, and they have any right to make proposals. And further than that, we gave the right also to the athletes, because the athletes are, opinion of the athletes is very important. This was the reason that we put 2 athlete members in the board. And athletes were elected by the athlete commission. Yes, proposed by the athlete commission, who are elected by the athletes. So everything is clear, everything is transparent, and I don't know why we have to discuss again and again these things.
Mr. President, if I may add something.
Yes, sure. We are.
Just I saw the minutes from the May 17. Please make a small correction. I joined at the point 7 of agenda. I was not present the whole meeting. That is not disclosed from the minutes. So I was late at the beginning, so I joined the agenda point 7. That remark should be inside. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. It's correct.
Sorry to interfere, but I raise my hand. Are we going to be able to speak out, or the meeting is finished? I was not sure, because you say everything has been said, or because I thought taking part in a meeting, I could maybe say a few words if I can.
That's correct. We never stop anybody to speak.
Oh, thank you. So whenever you, okay, thank you.
I was about to say that Didier raised his hand
since
a while, so I think it's a good chance to now, a good moment to give him the chance.
That's very kind of you. Okay, well, I'd like to say just a few things, because I send a quick email, quick message to which I hope most of you have read. So the first point is, I wouldn't like to spend too long on Robert, basically as part of the JJIF team, JJIF board. Basically, I believe it's your way of running the business. However, I would say Robert is representing Europe, the European Union, the European nations, and in some occasions, we ask him to voice our view. On the other hand, we expect him to tell us what's going on in international matters at the board. So that's all I'd like to say on this one. Then my concern, which I believe you have understood, President, is not about everything what you said. You said it has been discussed, it has been decided, democratic, everyone, whatever. I don't disagree with anything which you've said. I believe it was fast, but at the end, if it's the decision, it's the decision. I'd like to look at the situation from another angle, which is the angle of the athletes. And I tried to write it down, but I don't know if everyone amongst the participants have enough experience of high-level sport to understand what that means. So I would like just to, I'd like to take an image or maybe another example. Let's imagine you're at university. You join university, the year of university usually it's in September, and your exams are in end of June, let's say July, and this is our World Championship. At the end of the year, you start to hear rumors, beginning of the year, you hear rumors that the curriculum is going to change. Your exam will be different. You're studying literature for the 18th century, English literature in 18th century, and you hear that it's probably going the 19th century. So, and then you hear that maybe 10 students have done a test somewhere, and it seems that it's better, all right? Final decision is May 18, when we say, that's it, decision is made, this is what your exam will be. By the way, 2 weeks later, you say, oh, there is a slight change, but this year are the new rules. So just try to imagine what's in the head of a competitor at a high level. As I made a copy of what the competitor wrote to us. They were preparing their World Championships in September, meaning they think of their competitors, who is against, what should they prepare in such a way that, unlike last time when they were second or third, they would like to be first, etc. And here we change completely the name of the game. So honestly, from my point of view, those that I've talked to, they are really demotivated. I would say more than that, they are devastated. Because you know what it is to compete for a world championship, what is a medal, but it's so important for them. And sorry, but don't feel offended, but they feel disrespected. Because they say, well, we've been working for months and months, and then we change the rules of the game. So if I agree with all what you said, President, and you say that the decision, and nobody can change the decision, you decide. So what can I do? But give me what can I say to athletes who have been preparing themselves for months and months, that they will have 2 months to get ready for the next championship, which means completely changing the rules of the game, because we are not changing a little. It's not like changing 2 points by 1 point. I say, okay, it's a complete new ball games, but it's much better. So what do I say to them? I say, yes, it's disturbing, but world will be much better. So my concern, which I wrote to you, which I believe you understand, is why is it so urgent that we cannot delay 6 months? And this, I don't understand. And I don't believe it's in the interest of athletes. So this is all what I wanted to voice to all of you, because I am in Jiu-Jitsu for athletes, at least in the international level, it's for athletes to see good Jiu-Jitsu, seeing athletes, coach, enjoying the competition, having good Jiu-Jitsu. And I believe this is going to create a lot of trouble just to say, to gain 6 months, 8 months, whatever. Okay, I think I've said what I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Didier. Okay, first point I want to tell you is that I did not decide alone. The board decided. Anyway, this is a small correction to what you say, but I get your example of the university. Students are prepared according to a syllabus and give exams at the end of the year. If I change the exams from written articles to multi-choice, but keep the syllabus as it is. What will be the difference? There is no difference. This is what you have to answer to your athletes. That there is no change in technical part. There is nothing to change. The only change is that they are not competition between two couples, is a point taken by the good performance, good techniques, and the way the points are given is reverse what was proposed many, many years ago with taking out points from the system and reduce the final score of the couple. It's never happened, never. It was always a comparison between two couples. And this is what mainly the let's say the federations who are not, they have the feeling that they have no place in duo competition, because they have the feeling that some countries are in front and always get better points, better result in the comparison system, not in the point system. So it's easy to explain to the athletes. They have nothing to fear. If they are good in their performing their techniques, they get the medals that they can receive in any way. Therefore, this is not an excuse. It's a lack of understanding of the rules, because the rules are not so changing.
Honestly, it is a change. Huh? I mean, because if it was not a change, you wouldn't do it first, but it is a change. You don't, when you prepare yourself to fight against the Austrian team or whatever, the German team, or and you change, you prepare. Here, you're going to do, first of all, you fight on your own, just without other competitors, because you're in a pool and all the techniques are fixed before. It's completely different. You don't have the same strategy. And in competition, it's not only, it's a different strategy. And maybe 15 couples overall in the world have had a chance to do it, and even not in official championship, which is not the same in the head. So it will be the first. It will be a test for everyone. Okay, it will be a test for a world championships. To me, we should have done it in less important championships before. It is a big change. Sorry, President. Otherwise, you wouldn't do it, and you know that.
Okay, from your point of view, it's a big change. From the technical point of view, there's no change, and competition between two couples and competition between 8 couples maximum that can have a group doesn't make any difference, but give the opportunity to the couples to compete according to their technical knowledge and performances, and not because the judgment is in favor of them, since they have already a good name in duo. This is what many countries express, not only to me, and this was the reason that it was proposed like this. So I don't think that there will be any problem to the good couples. The good couples who knows what to do, they can do it. On the other hand, yes, in the beginning, the initial proposal was by draw of techniques, but European Union people insist and propose, no, we must have a certain program in its group, in its round. That's why we take this decision, because yes, more or less they were right. They were not ready to face this big change of drawing techniques at the last moment by the system, and be surprised. For me, if I'm good in what I do, I'm not surprised. That just have the advantage by knowledge to win any kind of competition in the system. And on the other hand, as I told you before, the old rules with the new rules, the only difference is that we see the techniques in the new rules in the positive way. In the old rules was the system was in the negative way. That make mistake, you take out points. Now you are good, you get points. This is the difference, the only difference. In reality, yes, it's a big difference because in the last rules never applied this, never.
Okay, I mean, you understand what I mean. It might go for much better, but it is whatever you believe. I'm sorry, but what it is very disturbing for the athlete. I don't know if the athletes committee has had a chance to ask the duo athlete and to say, how do you feel? How long do you need to get accustomed to something as different as that? As far as I know, I'm not sure even that the new athlete commission has already been appointed. I don't know, whatever. But I'd be interested to know how they feel, because those I spoke to, they are really worried.
Okay, everybody can worry, even in country elections, we are elected the government and we never agree with the government, for sure. But we elect the government. And this is also happening in JJIF and not any organization. Anyway, personally, I can tell you that maybe I'm the only president who approached the athletes whenever I have the opportunity and discuss with them worldwide. So I have very good opinion of the athletes, not all the athletes, of course, it's not possible, but those at least who wants to talk and comment. And I give this opportunity to them every time I'm in different events. They feel friendly and they say whatever they think. Yes, we can have the athletes commission, but athletes commission after the time when Claudia went out, because we lost the contact with the athletes commission actually, and we must bring it back, because it's very important for us to know what athletes are thinking and for what they are voting for the members. This is something that should be solved in this opportunity, and I think now they are ready to have to elect new committee for athletes, because it is independent committee, not influenced by board of the JJIF, so they can decide alone and propose and vote the representatives they believe that they will be the best. I think it is programmed, Claudia may correct me if I'm wrong, in World Championship in Mongolia, the elections.
I'm not sure if we managed this from timelines, because this is rather short notice, and well,
Yeah.
since we are understaffed, we had other things to do than this, unfortunately. However, also according to the statutes, the Athletes Commission is supposed to be elected on the Continental Union level. So since we have still Continental Union Championships upcoming, this can happen like this year, and then the Asian election could be next year. And then we should hopefully next year at this time have a full newly composed Athlete Commission. And I just want to additionally add that the members of the Athletes Commission are also always invited to the board meetings, and
Correct.
sometimes join and sometimes not.
Anyway, the elections of the athletes is not obligatory to be during the Continental Championship, but it's recommended to be in the Continental Championship. The continent can organize elections with different ways without any problem. Just to be correct and transparent elections for the athletes. That's all. So I don't know, my friend Didier, if I satisfied.
I mean, I understand your point. I take it. I just wanted to make sure that you understand how I feel and how also some people feel, and unfortunately athletes. I will have another question later, but I let you continue maybe on other topics.
I don't have nothing to add to this subject. I think we clarify everything, except if somebody wants to make any question. And
so if I may, but I will change, almost change topics, but because it's difficult. I mean, I understand you. You're talking about communication, the board and the nations and the unions, whatever. But it's not easy from where we stand to get the good communication at the right time. Okay. Anyway, so I'm happy to have Robert telling us when something is said. Sometimes it's not real decisions. Maybe it's only so. Okay. So I have got one question, specific question, which our president asked in his letter, and I'm sure many countries would like to know. I heard, might be wrong, that the old rules would be used for the combat games on duo. Is it right, or is it the new rules on combat games?
it's right. And I explain you why. Because we
Okay.
don't have enough couples to apply the new rules. And anyway, we have to work on round robin, and this is cannot happen with groups. This is the difference.
So the reason is there were not enough couples,
Of course not. There are 6 couples.
but 6 we could do a pool in the new system. Well, anyway, you understand. Please understand that it's not always easy to understand when you're on the floor preparing your. Anyway,
they cannot make a pool because we need a number of wins in order to deliver the medals, and the only way is round robin, as we do all these years.
but meaning that in the next combat games in 4 years, I mean, we'll have to find a solution. Otherwise, we cannot use the old rules when.
The course of the match. At the moment, we don't want to disturb these qualified couples for the combat games, so they can concentrate on exactly what they think that is expecting from them, and because it's also the performance, the presentation of the federation in the World Games, and it's not fair to change the rules in the multi-sport event, which already came by qualification of on this system.
We are also not allowed to change that.
Yeah.
Just so I would have a few clarifications on these matters. So participation in multi-sport event, we are of course following the rules from the multi-sport organization. This is a lengthy procedure to apply on, like, what are we going to do there, and we cannot in the way change it. And I would like to ask you also, you say the communication is not clear. We are publishing the minutes of every board meeting. For those that are following online, you can look them up on the JJIF website. So all the board meetings, the minutes are coming in there. Usually, I don't know, 5-10 days later. We are not working 24/7. We are having a WhatsApp group where we inform people. We are sending out emails. I don't know exactly what else do you need to be fully informed.
I was not saying that I need more. I just, I'm happy having, I'm sorry, there is a representative of Europe at the board. I think that's the right way, but sometimes discussions happen. From where I stand, I'm not sure it's decision, not decision, just thinking of. That's why occasionally I ask Robert, but sometimes also, as you say, I've sent to you some WhatsApp saying, is it one? And you clarify. That's it. Yeah. But okay, I don't want to come back on the previous discussion, but if we had the old rules in October, I say, well, anyway. We could have decided that the new rules could have been implemented after the European Championship. Anyway, that's done.
No, but
decide.
My question still remains. You claim that there is a lack of communication, and this is something that we are actively trying to do. Okay, because you said,
don't make me say what I don't.
okay, because as said, we are trying to publish everything.
In
I
any
said
case,
it's not easy to have the right communication, right time, and for different reasons, different.
okay, since
Okay.
I know Mr. Perch many years, and I think I know him very well, I cannot believe that he's not informing the European Board for every decision and every discussion we do in JJIF Board. I'm sure that he is doing that, and immediately. And this is correct. He has to inform his board. So communication is not only coming from JJIF, sometimes maybe by lack or because there's no important order, because the board of different continental unions believe that JJIF will send all the information out. Information are not going to the national federation. And in many cases also, I believe the national federations are not interesting about the information. It's not only one way, it's two ways. We have, I don't know, thousands of examples that people are coming and say, why we don't do that? If you read the minutes and if you read the decisions, it's already 6 years. Why you ask now? They never, many people, they never read anything concluding or coming from either from the JJIF or Continental Union Board. And this is the problem of communication, which we cannot solve it. What else? As Claudia said, what else we can do? So if you don't have any other addition to this subject, I don't know. I think we close the subject and
I think, well, I mean, there is another topic that it might not be the right time to talk about it. The gender, what it is called, sorry, male, female, and open was introduced in the rules on 18th of May. It was not any longer in the rules the 1st of June. So I think that might be another topic, but sooner or later we'll have to decide who can be competing in those. Is it in addition? I don't know if it has been clarified already or it will be later. Will it be at the World Championship?
So it is very clear. We're going to have a category where we don't ask for the gender. We simply don't ask. Everybody can participate, and how they identify themselves, how they feel, what they are in the passport, we don't ask it. So we're going to be the first federation, I think, which has a complete open division, following the guidelines and recommendations of IOC as well, to be open and non-discriminating. And the introduction, when we're going to start to run this category, the latest will be the 1st January 2024. Right. Because then starts the qualification for the games where we're going to have this category. And I think we will try to include it in events before, as it is as well an additional chance for the duo teams and show teams to win a medal. And we learn about how it will work and who will register. We discuss for the World Championship still under the aspect of administration. Will it take us too much time to do it? Because otherwise, it is the same competition the guys compete before, just in a mix-up. Then we will see how the referees react on how the judging, if it is under the standards of fair play, we will see. But this is now more an administrative idea. Will it fit in our schedule? Okay. And the gender categories have nothing to do in the rules. They belong to the sporting code. That's why we removed them completely from it.
That's why it was removed. Okay, but the idea will be like it is on duo. You can compete in different categories at the same championship, like we can do today. You can compete in a male duo and a mixed duo if you're not the same day. Yeah, all right, super. So one more medal possible.
One more medal
at least on this point, I have some good news to go back to my guys.
Not this time, because in sporting rule,
But
it's clear that they cannot participate in two categories, the same participant. And explanation, a couple is a participant, so you cannot participate in men and in open category. But
yes,
introducing the open category, we make a change in the sporting rules. So we give the right to the participants of, let's say, men duo and women duo to participate also to open category. But not this moment. That's why we did not include it in the World Games.
okay, so still anyway.
So here with us is Fabio and Birgitte, and as president of the board of JJIF, I want to thank them for their positive contribution and really hard work they did, and for the pension they have to stay calm and receive sometimes not logical requests from them. I hope that very soon everybody will understand the role of operator and the role of coordinator, and they will stop pressing people without reason if they cannot react on something. So thank you very much, both of you, and I hope that we'll continue working and increasing the value of Duo worldwide in the very soon with this system. We'll see that. I'm sure that we'll see a lot of good feedback for new system in youth, because in youth we have more couples than in adults, for sure. It's 2 months after, more or less. So, anything else about this subject? No. I repeat again that from now on we will have
maybe sorry again me, but so the duo is still at the World Games. Yeah, in fact, it was reintroduced. Well, we said it's going to be show, but in fact, duo is still at the World Games 2025. Okay.
the open category.
Okay.
We are, yeah. So we are, the reason why this is not yet published, we are still preparing a letter to IWGA with which we are like, well, now we can publish it. So we are in touch with IWGA. They have rejected our proposed categories, not because they didn't like him, but they have a minimum requirement of wins, which we do not fulfill with 7 people. So we got additionally spaces free when we go back to 6 people, and then the board decided that then the duo open category will be additionally at the World Games. However, this is still as the previous one. We are now sending in this proposal as a change to IWGA, and they still have to confirm it. We don't believe that they change it, but yeah, I don't want, because IWGA makes the decision. Like in any multisport event, we apply with a program and the multisport event comes back. And so far we have very good experience with this. But as said, also when we proposed the 7 people, IWGA came back and rejected it. So this was the first time we experienced this. So we are now adapting and applying again, and are again very hopeful that it will be approved. But I think this is important to notice. It's not JJIF that can just do whatever we want, but we are there a partner. And we have to discuss this with IWGA. And we will send out a letter somewhere this week with this updated information, and also, yeah, that we don't have 7 as we originally proposed in the category, but then 6 athletes/couples. But we still need to, as I said, also check that finally with IWGA.
Thank you, Claudia.
You're welcome.
Actually, JJIF is negotiating and not deciding for the multisport events. So, coming back of what I started saying, from now on, we apply these board meetings will be open. I don't know if it is important for live streaming, but board meeting will be open to at least to the members of the Continental Union Board, and on invitation also to the National Federation presidents. They have to apply for that probably, if they want to be part of the meeting without voting, right? Of course, but normally what we do as a board is that we never stop somebody to talk. Okay.
Then I just make this as notes for myself. So for the next board meetings, I will also invite the Continental Union boards. I might need from the president some more contact details. And for those that are not in the Continental Union Board, but we represent the National Federation, I guess they can send an email at the mail@jjif.org with the request that they would apply for the next edition. Then we can formalize that, because I don't want to send an open link in the internet to avoid, well, if you have ever experienced a Zoom bombing, I can tell you, let's not do this here. So I would like to have a certain control on the amount of people that come in and out.
And once again, if we can have athletes representative as soon as possible, because we are here for them. So if they are not here to talk about, I mean, the real Ju-Jitsu, let's say, where, I mean, administrative is important, but Ju-Jitsu, it's on the mat. And they are, so, sorry. So
Actually, there is no reason not to have representatives. One of the representatives still exists in the board.
so
The only person that is not exist is not being in the board is the French girl. I remember the name now.
Severine, she resigned a few months ago. So she signed a letter and stepped back from her position. Faisal is member of the board. And as I said, those have been also invited. And most of the time, Faisal is also there. So this is an exception that he is not there.
I thought Severine, she was part of a commission with several people. So there would be another. One time, I remember there was another lady from the Netherlands who was there. So we should pass on to the next one. We need them.
I'm happy to do this, but I cannot decide for the athletes commission who will replace the other one. So they should themselves say, hey, one of our persons is not there anymore. Can the next person come in? So again, this is an elected position and we cannot just pull people in. So the athletes commission should among each other discuss this. And then if they come on, hey, Severine is not there anymore, we would like to propose that X or Y is coming. We will not say no, but we can also, you know, we cannot say you are now the next person, because then we have another appointed board member, and this is not the idea. The idea is that the people are elected.
But what you can say is, we need a name. Mrs. Severine, you have resigned. Please let us know out of the commission who is next on the list, so we can send an invite to this lady. Sorry. Or this.
Okay.
Yes, it has to be a lady. Sorry.
Yeah, it should be a lady. Yeah, true.
Exactly this happens. So Severine resigned. I asked her if she will support us with finding the next one, most likely to be selected on the World Championship. So it's not that we don't do this. We do exactly this. And they are board members. They are board members with voting right. So we cannot just pick somebody. Faisal is in the board with voting right. He's now in the training camp in USA. That's why he's not joining. So it's not that easy, and not that somebody exclude athletes.
Yeah.
And that's simply not, don't fit the reality.
At least
and
not
that we don't look for it is as well not correct.
At least not JJIF, because it was the first federation who had voting members in the board since many years before other federations think about it. So, anything, other subjects, please, Joe, Claudia?
No, from our side, there is nothing. The statutes had been sent from Nuvin, the text. I think there was no objections. We said we're only going to put it on the agenda if there is any objections or questions. But we had the version from Robert. We now got the review from Nuvin in about some more about the English, I think, again, what I saw. If nobody from the board members want the text to be discussed, we don't have anything else here.
It is not important which kind of English we are using. Suppose that we must use common English in order for everybody to understand as much as possible. I think Rick is asking to talk. Yes, yes, Rick.
No, that was a few minutes ago, 5 or 6. But thank you for the valuable time, Mr. President. I was just already put it in the chat that JJIF have candidates in for the athletes committee in Europe, and we just need to do the final elections of who will be in the athletes commission. So it's no. I know, Joe, that Severin was there from out of Europe. So I don't know now your question, what about, but if we only can have JJIF athletes, for me it's fine also. Then I can propose to JJIF athletes that they sort out who might be a candidate for the JJIF. For me it's also...
They must propose themselves in the elections of Continental Union. The same is going for Asian Union, for African Union.
Yeah. So we have candidates.
We cannot
to be elected, and then we have the athletes commission back on track.
There is the statutes and a code how the athletes commission is working, and we must follow this code because the board has nothing to do, not involvement in this subject, not at all.
No, they need to do it themselves. That's what I'm saying. Severin has helped us, has helped the elections in Europe. So
that's good. That's good.
That's all.
Which also makes sense because, as said, the original, in the statute said that the election should happen on a continental level, and then among the representatives of the Continental Union, there is another election to who is then representing in JJIF. And as said, if we have, for now, as said, election in Europe, it's good because then we can maybe put the representative from Europe interim in the board, and then when we have all the elections in all continental unions done, again, make with these candidates another election that they selected 2 representatives. But I think this would be a nice solution in between.
Yeah, maybe it's not for this meeting, of course, but reconsider the setup of the athletes commission, because at a certain moment, Severin was alone because all the others left the building. And yeah, then you know what happens. Then she also lost the energy to do anything. So it's just a small overthink it.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I mean, what is difficult is to find the balance between helping and then influencing, because I'm happy to help, to set up people, to make sure that they can do the job. But then there is, of course, a fine border between actually influencing. And this is exactly what, like Panayota said, we don't want that. We want that the athletes themselves are setting themselves up and electing. And sure, we are, like, for example, you and Mirik, we are helping them to do these elections. But as said, I'm trying to keep my fingers away, exactly, as much as possible to avoid that we are influencing this.
But what you see is that the process is stuck, and then you need to push it again and again.
Yeah, I would also think that we will move this topic to a different board meeting. I don't know if we should discuss this all on YouTube. I mean, it's how people resigned and not resigned. It's not a matter.
If I may very quickly, because we had the same discussion in Europe, JJIF is not shouldn't influence the vote, but I think JJIF should organize the process. In a country when there is a vote, you have a government. Their responsibility is to organize the process and in such a way that it's a fair process. Then, I don't know, in some ways, every athlete should receive a voting card, should vote, whatever, I don't know. But you are, I believe, responsible for the process, if I may.
We are, and we did also the previous times, and we also are planning to do this time. But as said, there is a limited amount of people that can do these things. And then we have to decide, do we apply for the World Games 2025 or do we run an athletes commission? And for now, the application for the World Games was a bit more important anyway, as said, we have this on the agenda and we are doing this. And yeah, I'm happy that in Europe already the first processes are started. So then we can pick up on this and as usual work together.
They will find their way for sure, believe me.
Sure. I want to comment on the last thing about the plain English. This we will, I think, do parallel to the next, like we will make sure that the changes of the statutes are in and then we can have the document of the plain English running in parallel to the normal statutes to have this better understood. But I think we are good there.
Yeah. Our next board meeting is day before the General Assembly. Is that correct?
I think this makes sense. This makes sense what we always did. We would have a normal scheduled one on the 9th of July, but we must consider if we're going to hold this or if we meet in person the day before the Congress and at the not participating people online. Could be, and we can test the hybrid meeting. Yeah. We would have a test for the hybrid meeting, which is requested.
Yeah.
I would propose the 14th of July for the next board meeting in this case.
Because different groups of referees are preparing some proposals about the qualification or not qualification, the choice of referees and the way of evaluating the referees, and they are asking if have the right to ask the board for approval or not approval before the World Championship, so they can announce some of these proposals to be applied, especially, I believe, maybe is the qualification of the evaluation of referees. I don't know.
This is a technical proposal, so as usual, the board can refer to technical commission. If the technical commission approves, the board approves, and then the Congress can ratify. This is not a matter that needs to go in through the Congress, because this is for me, it's a very technical.
They're not asking to go to the Congress if they have the time, if it is right for them to apply for approval before the World Games. So I explained to them that the procedure that they must finish the documents and bring the documents to the technical commission. Technical commission, they can ask to technical commission to act fast, and the next board meeting, maybe we are ready to accept the proposal or not accept the proposal, doesn't matter.
Yeah, we can put it on the agenda for the 14th. That should be no problem.
Okay.
Good, Mr. President.
Yeah. I don't know if our friends from Pan American Union have to ask or add something. I know that Gregory likes to be involved. He has opinion and very strong opinion.
Oh, everything okay.
Good. Thank you.
Okay.
And African Union also. Naveen.
Thank you. First, on what has been discussed as regards the dual rules, my personal opinion has been, and this is why the board decided in such a way that indeed the technical part remains the same, and the difference is in the process of the competition. And to me, it's a fairer system compared to the comparison system. And this is why I think that it can be endorsed and implemented now, because the technical part, whatever the athletes have to do and perform, this remains the same. The attacks, the series, all this remains the same. And this is of course my personal opinion, and this is why I voted accordingly. As regards the rules, I have to thank, of course, we have to thank Robert for the draft he has prepared. with the editorial changes that the board was allowed to do after the changes that the Congress approved in 2022. I have added a few editorial changes, but of course only editorial, because this was our mandate after what the Congress approved, following a proposal from Robert to change certain things and harmonize certain matters in the rules. Now, I think if there is no comment from on the part of the board, we already have a new text as approved by Congress in 2022, but with editorial changes, which the board was allowed to do. Claudia will be suggesting some more changes, but this, of course, will be for the Congress of 2023 to decide upon. And as regards, Claudia has come up with the suggestion of having sort of a plain English version. To me, even for a non-legal mind, the rules as they are now, the new text are very readable and understandable. But I welcome also Claudia's suggestion that where we can simplify the language, we will, without changing, of course, the substance. But my proposal was therefore not to run it in parallel. We will prepare another version for the next Congress, where if we can simplify it and make some, if there are other proposals to amend, then this will happen in the Congress of 2024.
Thank you, Naveen.
Thank you.
The other board members, Christian.
Yeah, Mr. President.
Yes, Fahad.
First of all, best regard from His Excellency Abdul Al Hashmi. I want just to say that we have good communication all with the JJIF team. We was talking all the time with everyone, Claudia, Joe, yourself, Mr. President, always there. And from Asia perspective, we are very excited this year. This year will be very important year. I'm very happy that Asian host all the games, Mongolia, Kazakhstan, and there is a big game in China. We know it's not easy, and the combat game, of course, under the supervision of and support of you, Mr. President, there is a big hard year for us, but we are ready. I have to say that this is a very nice way to discuss with everyone. We have a good team. We trust each other. We always happy to improve. There is no big change, but as you said, there is always improvement in sport. From my experience, some small change will affect in the reaction of the athletes, but the intention of improve or the change, I think always for the interest of the sport. We believe in this intention. We will be open, flexible to work with everyone, and we need your support, all of you, from European, yourself, Mr. President, to make this event, because as everyone know, to be part from multi-sports, you should convince also the people there, the big organization. We are an important sport. We deserve to get more chances to win. We will be in the Asia game, and I hope, I believe that everyone will be with us to make this sport, inshallah, a main sport in Asia. And also, as you know, Mr. President, we focus now on the big change will happen in Asia. We know we are waiting in July election in OCA. And I believe we have always good chance to be apart from this change, especially as sport, as a Jiu-Jitsu. We show good commitment, we show good, move, and always our advantage. We are one team, united, and there is no problem in Asia. I'm talking from Asia, and even there is some challenge, I will say that, in communication, but we face it by using our tools in the Asia, using too many language. You know, we have Russian, we have Chinese, Japanese, Indian, and we have, you know, different time, different language. But we always focus in the interest of the continent and the benefit for the Jiu-Jitsu family. This is what I want to say. Thank you always for your support, Mr. President.
Thank you, Fahad. One thing that maybe is interesting for the board is that in Australia actually, there is a new president in the Jiu-Jitsu Federation. He contacted me and also contacted Joe by letter. And he's asking for help because he wants to improve the participants and include the participants in Australian Jiu-Jitsu for fighting and duo, because now they are concentrated in Nevada only. I have the good opportunity because this guy is coming from a Greek family from Melbourne. Okay, his Greeks are not perfect, but at least we can communicate in his language. And he have also an assistant who was for many years world A referee in JJIF in fighting and duo. So he has a good knowledge at the time of Ronaldo, I think, as president, but still he ran a dojo in Australia, and he is really interesting to be involved again and motivate the Australian athletes to participate more and more. I already told him that I informed our Asian Union, because Asian Union is very close with Oceania, and even OCA is inviting Oceania in many multi-sport events, so they can communicate, and we see how we can support them either by JJIF or Asian Union in order to develop the sport. But it's good news that we start something positive in Australia.
Of course, Mr. President, anything will come from the JJIF board or yourself. We will work hardly to be very close to them. And as you know, Australia will add value also for our situation in OCA.
Yeah.
So as much as we have country, as much as we are in good position in the multi-sports games. So we will be our pleasure to contact Australian new president, and we will be even happy to see him participate and in the closest game, even in OCA 1, in the Asia game.
Okay, I will give you the contacts, and I also give the contacts to the president of Australian Federation, so we can directly talk and see how we can work together and develop Australian Jiu-Jitsu. Yep, please.
I just was about to say these are very great developments. I would suggest to formally close the board meeting part. We can still chat, but we are still live streaming and recording everything. So I guess I would give the word to Panayotis for a final closing, and then we close the board meeting and we can still chat about everything any further, but I would not want to stream everything on YouTube.
Okay, is there any objection to that? I think no. So I have to thank you, all of you, because once more we show that we can work as a team, and we can discuss everything with free language and free thinking, which is the most important value of democratic management of an organization. Thank you again, and those who can stay for chatting, where you are welcome. Those who want to enjoy the rest of Sunday, have a nice Sunday. Thank you.